everybody, and welcome back to the Dream Team Tonic podcast, episode number 85. I'm Tony, and joining me, as usual, is Ben. Are you there, mate?
Hi, mate. All right?
All good, mate. And James, are you there?
I'm here, Tony. You don't look too special. Your eyes are a bit glassy, mate.
Yeah, I fell off the wagon, mate. I've not had a drink for so long. And, had a Halloween party for the kids. And
For the kids. Any excuse.
Yeah, I've come through a case and a half of lager, so not feeling the greatest, but, we soldier on. You two do out for Halloween?
No.
Yeah. We had a little movie night, loads of sweets, popcorn and takeaway, Parmos, chips, pizzas, lovely.
Excellent.
So when the is the trick or treats this coming on what Friday is it or something?
Monday.
Right. So tomorrow, all the curtains will be shut, the lights will be dimmed. Nobody's fucking at his home.
And the hatches. Yeah.
I seen a photo the other day, and it had a front door, and it's got bags of sweets on the door, like sellotape to the door, and on the bottom it says, "Take one bag and fuck off."
I didn't know you'd been to Bristol, Ben.
Right. Big welcome to Dream Team Professor, who's joined the Patreon. Good to have you involved, mate. Thanks for the support. It's nice to have you in there in the Discord, in the group. Right, let's have a look how the week's gone on. It's been a bit up and down for me personally, but Ben, over to your side.
Yeah, 42 points so far. Got De Gea in goal, 8 points. Saliba, 8 points. Cancelo, 5 points. Palmieri did not play. Bowen got 0. Kevin De Bruyne scored absolute worldie, free kick. Got star man against Leicester. Foden on the bench again. Came on with not much time to do anything. Mount, nil points. Haaland injured, and I don't have any transfers left. Martinelli, about time he scored.
Yeah.
8 points. And Bobby Firmino, 0. It's all to play for in Europe midweek.
That's it. We're only halfway through. What we're hearing about Haaland, is it any longer than a week or so?
So far, it looks like he's going to miss the European game, and he might play against Fulham next week. But if not, he'll play against Chelsea in the cup. But that's all that we heard so far. So could change by the end of the week.
Yeah.
But we'll have new transfers next week, won't we?
That's it. We will. We will. Big injury, that one.
Lots of money to spread around.
Yeah, there's a lot of money there, isn't there? He's a cash cow, isn't he? James, how's your side gone?
I've had a stunning week, Tony. After Saturday's fixtures, I had a grand total of 5 points. It's I now have 17. Saka and Odegaard have taken me from extremely embarrassing to just really embarrassing. It didn't help. I've got a couple of Chelsea defensive players. I've got Kepa got me -3. Cucurella got me -3. Simicast didn't play. Cancelo got me 5 though. Sessegnon finally returned and got me a 6. Saka got me 5. Odegaard got me 8. Bowen nothing. Foden nothing. That's disappointing to see him not starting at the weekend, but there you go. Kane -1, Haaland didn't play. So 17 points. I do have some fairly decent other sides that are doing quite well, but this one is still limping along.
The curse of the podcast team.
What was that, Tony?
The curse of the podcast team.
Yes.
There it is.
The annual Chelsea train crash happens.
Yeah. That's it.
4-1
Spreading
against
those
Brighton.
Yeah. Spreading
Can you
those
remember the
-3s
other?
around.
Can you remember the other two train crashes over the last 2 years?
One was against West Brom, wasn't it?
Yeah, 5-2 at home.
Yeah. Never forget that one. What was
And
the other one then?
last season was 4-1 at home to Brentford.
Right.
Yeah, the West Brom one, I remember quite well. I think I'd gone all in on some Chelsea blocks and that were devastating. Yeah, it's not good. Not good to sit them -3s. I know they were up near top on top 100 leaderboard. There's someone who'd done quite well with the Chelsea block, who obviously been probably absolutely battered with that one. It's probably like -12, -15 straight off there. So you might have done worse than your side, James, your podcast team.
Well, my cup opponent in our Patron Cup is his team's called Chelsea Block, and the last time I looked, it was on -5. I happened to mention this on the Discord, and Aaron Wade had piped up and said, "Well, it worked well the last 2 weeks, which is fair enough." So he's had a bit of a bad luck there.
Yeah.
But I might. But there's a silver lining to every cloud, as they say. I might get a cup win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about time one of you two win one of your cup matches.
I know.
Yeah,
Letting the
shocking.
team down.
Yeah, I think my team's on 42. I think the opponent's on 38, so I might be able to scrape a win this week as well. You never know. I'll just go out in group stages again like last season. Right, we'll have a look at my team. For decent, done pretty well out of all my teams this week. Even with having Kepa in the net, who got me a -3. Akanji got me 5 points. Sessegnon, 6 points. Dalot, Starman Magnet, he's loving it. 13 points again today. Saka, 5 points, then went off injured. So need to keep an eye on that one. De Bruyne, 13 points, lovely goal. Foden, yes, strange one. Have to keep a close eye on that situation. You don't seem to be in the minutes at the minute. Mount, my mate, yeah, seems to have been broken, along with all the other Chelsea assets. Salah, who I brought in for the injured Haaland, 8 points. Kane, -1. And Jesus, 12 points. No goal, but a couple of assists and Starman.
Good score that so far this week, Tony. I haven't seen many that high.
Yeah, 58 is decent. That I'm happy with that. It's now my podcast team is now I think my third best team.
Cool.
So it's doing all right. So I'm not suffering with that curse, which I usually do. But yeah, not doing too bad. I think it's about 22k. That team. Yeah. Yeah, got one more transfer left in that side. So if Saka's injury's a bad one, then I'll probably take him out before the new ones land this week, or just go for a price rise. Just try to steal 0.3s from somewhere. And we'll see. Right, listener question time. First up, DT Patrick. Which players do you think will play in both their Premier League game and Carabao Cup game and likely do well in both? That's the week coming up, the double game week after the transfers land. What do you reckon, Ben?
It's a bit of a long answer. This I've looked at all the Premier League teams. There's quite a few players that I think could play all 3 games. Looking at Man City, obviously they're playing Chelsea, so they should be going strong anyway.
Yeah.
In the Carabao Cup game. Same goes for Chelsea, but Chelsea have a hard run of games, so I'd probably avoid Chelsea now. They've got Chelsea have Arsenal at home, Man City away in the cup, and Newcastle away in the league. And Newcastle are flying, so that'll be a tough
Yeah.
match for them.
Probably the three most informed teams in the league.
Yeah. So from Man City, I'd probably say Akanji is probably the one that's going to get most minutes. I just have a feeling that he'd definitely play in the cup anyway, and he's been playing in the back line as well. He's been getting minutes even if he's coming off the bench. Pep seems to like him. Patson Daka could be one. He's been playing a lot of minutes up front for Leicester. Didn't start the weekend, but started the game before that. And with it being a cup match, and they're playing Newport, Leicester, so it could be an interesting game. Castagna as well, because he's a right back. I'm sorry, he's a right back, but we don't have Pereira at the moment, Ricardo Pereira, so he should have to play all the games.
Yeah.
Harvey Barnes as well, I think, could be an option.
He's look lively.
Yeah, 4.3 million. Man United, Dallo seems to be playing every single minute. Got star man tonight. That's 2 13-pointers in a row. And I think he's got 5 clean sheets and 6 now. Doesn't seem to fancy Wan-Bissaka, does he? Ten Hag.
No.
So, yeah. Shaw's playing minutes now, starting games, so he's a good option. 3.2 million now. What about Maguire, eh? It's all right tonight. Played well. 2.8 million.
Few moments. There's still a few moments.
Give him some slack, man. He's not played for ages.
I know. Confidence has been shot to bits, hasn't it?
Yeah. Southgate is still picking though, won't he?
Oh, yeah.
Best choice.
Never let me down from England.
I'll let you pick some, James, because it'll go on forever if I do it.
Well, no, you keep going because I've taken a completely different approach to this question. So
okay,
you're not going to stamp on my any of my picks.
Well, Harry Kane, I think, will play all 3 games.
Yeah,
he plays every single minute that he can. From West Ham, I could see Bowen playing. He seems to be. Apparently he was injured, weren't he? But he still played the full 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So they've got West Ham's got Crystal Palace, Blackburn, and Leicester at home. Ben Rama seems to be on penalties when Lanzini's not on the pitch. He's 3.1 million, and Kera seems to play every match. Even like he'll come on and still play. You know what I mean? If you don't start the match, he starts all the Premier League games, but he's been playing, coming off the bench in Europe and still getting the clean sheet bonus points as well. Arsenal, Martinelli, but Arsenal, you don't know what teams are going to play because they're playing Brighton, but they're at home. So I'd say Martinelli, Tomiyasu, probably the safest ones from Arsenal. Because, like you say, Tomiyasu can come on. He can start left back, right back. Chelsea, said this before, avoid for me. Pottery lottery I've wrote down here. Liverpool, Elliott's like on the fringes of the starting 11 and he'll play these games like against Derby, I think. So I think he's a good enabler and obviously he got a star man of a week. Tsimikas will play even if he comes off the bench. I think he was rested this weekend because he will play against Napoli in the Champions League. I think he'll start the game. And Firmino is probably like on the verge of the starting 11, but he'll get minutes in the cup, I think, as well.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. He'll start in the league, but he's not the first choice striker now, so I think he'll play against Derby. Yes, what do you think, James?
Just on that Firmino point, you're forgetting that we don't have any. We're playing all our strikers at the moment, so
Yeah, but
um,
you're gone.
I'm not. You might be right, but
Mm.
I don't know that he might play. Klopp in previous seasons, not last season so much, but all seasons prior to that, would literally put out the kids.
Mm.
So I wouldn't be too. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be banking on any Liverpool, any of those Liverpool players. But I think you have picked the ones that have a reasonable chance.
Yeah, I just think. Sorry, I just think Nunez and Salah will be like more chance of being rested, and Firmino's like that third choice one that will be get minutes in the cup. But
Yeah,
like you say, Carvalho will play that game, won't he? And
he
I
will.
can't
Yeah,
think who will play the other side. But Salah and Salah will definitely be on the bench just in case, though. Nunez might not be.
yeah. You never know. He might play
Mm.
Nunes to. Well, we could do with a win to build confidence, but I know
Yeah.
it's a derby, but I don't know if that counts. He might play him because he thinks he'll get a hatful,
Yeah,
and it will boost his confidence. So who knows? But
exactly.
like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he put out a team of kids
Yeah,
with very few first teamers in it.
might
But we'll
want to
see.
defend that trophy though.
It looks like the league's out of reach.
Yeah.
So I spent absolutely ages looking at this and thinking about it, and for me, there weren't any players that stood out as like must-haves. I think you've done a great job there, Ben, listing a load of players. I even created my own fixture ticker, which I've shared with the Patreon to try and help me figure this out. I mean, typically most sides will rotate pretty heavily in the cup. So I think you'd be looking at the sides with the smaller squads like a Brentford or a Newcastle. But even Newcastle, they're flying high in the league. Are they really going to prioritise the Carabao Cup? I'm not convinced they will. There's been such a turnaround of games,
Yeah.
Saturday, Wednesday, and so on. I suppose they've not been in Europe though, so it's not quite as bad for them. I think it's actually safer to bring in players with ideally 2 or 3 good fixtures rather than try and sort of
Juggle.
pick out a star that might play. I mean, Aman pointed out on the Discord that the top sides are more likely to bring on their big players if they fall behind. So, rather than go for some of these differential types that might sort of play all three, you might be just as well sticking with the big players, and they might come on if the team's not doing so well. We've seen that plenty of times. They'll start with the kids, they go behind to a Sheffield Wednesday or a Derby, they panic and they'll bring on the big guns for the last half an hour, 20 minutes. So it's a bit of a lottery, to be honest, in my opinion. So with that in mind, I think it makes more sense to target three good fixtures rather than sort of try and think about who might play in the cup, etc. And that'll be the approach that I take. That's my 2 penneth on the subject.
Yeah. The you get suckered in with the cup games, can't you? Especially the early ones. Trying to find that diamond that you usually end up you put him in for that first game week, he was just stinking out for the next game week. He's not going to probably do it. Unless you've got someone who's playing like who was it the other year who played against for Spurs? Who did they play?
Yeah,
Vinicius.
Yeah, Vinicius. Did he score 4 goals?
Three. I think it was three against Marine, wasn't it?
Marine, that's the one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Difficult to find those, though, isn't it?
it is
Although we did
difficult.
talk about him, didn't we? And this
Yeah.
was the annoying thing, and none of us did it. And then
No,
he goes and scores 4.
that's it. It's a nice little haul. I like your little grid, James. It's very, very handy. Ben, you've touched on quite a lot of players there. This grid, James, just a couple of questions about the grid. I've gone to Spurs. I'm just looking down. It says 1 difficult, 2 easy. Now, I know obviously Leeds is a difficult game, I take it. So they've got, is that Notts Forest and Leeds they've got?
So, yeah,
You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
yeah, I know what you're saying. You're saying Liverpool's now an easy game. Yeah. The thing is, you don't forget last week we beat Man City, so
Yeah,
we tend to do worse against the poorer sides. That's the way it seems to be. They raise their game. They're for the bigger sides. I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised if we beat Spurs.
yeah.
It's just, I mean, yeah, Spurs haven't looked great. They're just grinders, aren't they? But yeah, I know what you're getting at, Tony.
No, it's all right. And just one more is West Ham 3 home games favourable. You've missed out one very difficult tie against a resurgent Rovers. Yeah,
What's your honest opinion on that fixture? I mean, obviously you follow Rovers quite closely. It's at the London Stadium, isn't it? They're away.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think they've got a chance?
We're playing decent football. We're all right. We're a decent side. We're just a bit inconsistent. We're a young side, very young side. We could go there and win 2-0, but we could, just on the same breath, we could go there and get front 7. Which one turns up? We've got a young lad in middle at Park now, Tyler Morton, another nice loanee from Liverpool. Who he's unbelievable. Him and another one of our young lads, Adam Wharton, who's an England international at youth level. I think they're only like 18 and 19-year-old. They're running our midfield. They're unbelievable, both of them. Very, very talented players. So, got the talent to go and give them a scare. It'd be
Tone,
nice to.
do you think you'll go there thinking about trying to win it with your strongest team, or try and keep your players fit for the league because you're doing so well in the league?
We don't have the biggest squad. I think there'll be a few of the fringe players come in. Bradley Dack's not been getting too much game time, so he'll probably come into fold.
Not a bad player to bring in.
No, he isn't. And he probably will just. He doesn't mind Thomason. He'll just throw the young lads, even younger lads out there. Yeah, just pop up from anywhere. These young lads. Yeah, I think they'll go pretty strong. With a few fringe thrown in. I think that's West Ham. It's a good opportunity for West Ham to rest some players. I think.
Yeah.
Whether they do or not, they're probably more likely to because obviously they're playing in Europe, aren't they, as well. But as fans of teams like West Ham, Southampton, Crystal Palace, your cup runs are massive.
Another way to look at it as well is that because there's a World Cup coming up the week after that, the managers might just think, well, I've got nothing to lose here. I'll just play my best players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've got one game after this, so if they get injured, they're going to be out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I could win this cup match and then we're into the next round for when we come back from after the World Cup.
It's true. It's like there's nothing to lose kind of things. They should really just go in gung ho.
Yeah.
Full strength team, 3 games, and they might go that way. You might see everybody do it. Which would be nice. Be nice for us if they just carry on playing the strongest sides.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even mention Newcastle players on that list. I've just literally skipped over them when I was looking at the fixtures.
Yeah,
we got a question about that coming up anyway. From the usual person who raises questions about Newcastle.
We'll talk about it then.
Yeah, Trippier, Botman. We'll get on to all them. It's gonna be interesting to see. Hopefully, they play full strength throughout this month, and they don't go about resting players. Keep our dream team points coming. Right, Connor. Here he is. He's back in his black and white stripes.
The con man.
Have I got my Newcastle tinted glasses on for thinking? that moving my Chelsea block to a Newcastle block is a good idea for November. What do you reckon, James?
Well, it's not as crazy as it sounds. They're doing very well. There's no European fixtures, as we know. We've got the wild card straight after. I'm probably going to be bringing in a few Newcastle. I mean, I've got 10 teams. None of them are doing particularly well. A couple of ones that are doing really badly. I reckon I might go for a Newcastle block or two myself. I mean, they've got Southampton away. That's winnable. Crystal
Yeah.
Palace at home, Chelsea at home. They're a formidable force in front of that Newcastle crowd. There could be 2 clean sheets in those 2 games, in those 3 games easily.
Yeah.
Chelsea. I don't see them battering anybody at the moment. You know, they have their moments. Potter just seems to completely change the lineup every game. There's no consistency there. It's almost I just get the feeling he's trying to be too clever some of the time, playing bloody Pulisic at left wing back.
Yeah.
I know, he played. I don't understand. You play one one attacker as a wing back, and then a more defensive wing back. But he's played 2 attackers at wing back away from home. It's just too gung ho for me. And then you got Cucurella, it goes flying up as well all the time, playing centre half.
He's tried this in the last 3 or 4 games now, and at half time he's had to change it back to something else because he's realised it's not working.
It's not working.
So you would think that, you know, that there's a pattern there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange one that.
You just drop it back to 4 at back. If you've not got the personnel to play that system, and you're having to play Pulisic or Sterling, they're just getting found out in their positions. Just you've got to change it up. Whether you want to play 5 at the back, 3 centre halves, 2 wing backs. Sorry, you've not got the players there at the minute.
Well, he's got Chilwell, who doesn't seem to be playing half the games, and annoyingly, there must be something more to this. Surely, we know what Chilwell can do. He's an amazing player on his day. Unless he's still not over his injury problems, I don't understand why he's not in that side every week. But
I thought he was playing, weren't he? What has he been? He's basically 1 in, 1 out, 1 in, 1 out.
Yeah.
He played against Villa, didn't play against Brentford. Played against United, didn't play against Salzburg. Did he come off the bench against Brighton for a -3?
I'm glad I got rid of him this week.
Yeah.
I think they're a bit worried about his injury because he had a long-term injury, but I don't know. I'd play him, I would. But obviously they've got all this like technology to tell you if players are not in the right way, fitness to play. So we don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah. Tuchel was doing the same thing, wasn't he? So perhaps that that seems the only logical answer to that is he's not over these injury problems.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you reckon about a Newcastle block then, Ben?
Why, aye, man? I think it's a good idea, like.
Yeah, flying, aren't they?
Flying, yeah. We've got like you say, you've got no European games now. And Trippier's the second highest scoring defender in the game now. Shaw's doing well. So I think it's a good idea. Pope's a Starman magnet. So yeah, I like it.
What do you guys feel about an Everton block?
Well,
Leicester at home, Bournemouth away twice. Bournemouth, they're not free scoring by any stretch. And Everton have got Tarkowski and Cody as 2 pillars at the back. Pickford in goals doing all right. Do you fancy an Everton block?
I did not. Sorry.
Go on, you're right, man.
I was going to say I didn't think about that, but now you've mentioned it, you're dead ending it into the World Cup, so you get unlimited transfers after when the World Cup's on. It doesn't matter if you put all Everton players in because you can change them all before the start of the next half of the season. So
Exactly. Yeah.
it could work, yeah.
Mm.
But you have to be very brave. But like you say, they've got 3 matches. Everyone's got 3 matches apart from Fulham, so
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
Fortune
It
favours the
could
brave,
work.
as they say.
Yeah.
We had, I think last week's pod we did delve into this a little bit in the run of fixtures leading to the World Cup, and we did touch on some of their assets. We went over Michael Enko, who's cheap as chips at 2.4 million. I think obviously, like you said, Tarkowski and Cordy were a little bit more pricey at 3 million and 3.3, and they got themselves a clean sheet this week.
Yeah.
So who's to say that, like you say, that they can get 3? If you're brave and you put a block in and they get 3 clean sheets in a row, you can bump one of them teams that might not have started that well and give them a right good boost. As regards to Newcastle, yeah, they're flying. Trippier is, well, he's going to be, another probably 4.9 million by the time transfers come round. He's 4.6 at the minute. I'm guessing he's going to get another 0.3 rise.
Yeah.
You got Pope at 3.4 million. But he didn't get the 7 rating, did he?
No.
He didn't get it this week.
That's unusual. He normally does.
He must have had much to do. You got Shaw.
They battered
Botman.
Villa, didn't they?
Yeah. No new manager bounce there, was there?
He's not there yet, though, is he?
Who-
He's got to wait for his work permit because of this whole EU bollocks.
Yeah. He's
Well,
already worked over here.
I know.
I was going to bring in Trippier, but then I didn't realise there was a work permit issue, and so I thought new manager bounce. I'm not going to do it, so I brought in Dallo instead. So I'm not too unhappy.
And you were going, I can't believe I brought Dallo in after the Trippier 10-pointer, and then Dallo goes and gets 13 points,
Yeah.
and he's got another game.
Yeah.
So it might work in your favour, mate. Well, look, hasn't it?
I'm not too unhappy about that.
Yeah. Unless he gets sent off.
Yeah, they're playing Sevilla in the week, aren't they? And they'll probably get hammered for like 6-0, and I'll be like, oh, crap.
Man U are playing Sociedad. Real
Sociedad,
Sociedad.
yeah.
Yeah, City's playing Sevilla.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably looking at bringing Trippier into the better sides. Might even throw a Pope in there. Who knows? There's a lot of, up on the top 100 leaderboard, there's a lot of Newcastle players up there. Like a lot of blocks and part blocks. They're doing well. Even with just the 1 game a week, they're doing the business. So, yeah. It's not crazy, Connor. Yeah, get off that Chelsea train. It's crashed already. Their fixtures turn now as well, so crashed to stop too early, didn't it? Right, Basbestos. Removing Haaland, KDB, Foden and Cancelo. Rank your top 5 City players for those who are considering going all in on City. James, after them players, who else would you throw in there for a big all in on City?
I would go in this order, I think. Kanji, Bilva, Diaz, although he's so expensive for what he is, Edison and Gondo.
Yeah. Ben?
So I've gone Akanji, 4.1 million, good price. Bilva, 4.1 million. Mahrez, 4.3 million. I just think he'll get minutes, even though he didn't play at the weekend. Should play in Champions League. Alvarez, if Haaland is injured longer term, 3.6 million. And I was struggling with, was it 5 he wanted?
Yeah.
I was struggling with a 5th one, really. Like, I don't want to pay 4.9 for Edison when there's keepers around 3 million that are doing just as well. Like you say, Diaz is normally the first choice centre back, so probably Laporte. What's he 4.5 something like that? I haven't looked.
4.8.
4.8. Yeah.
Diaz not been as
Yeah,
nailed this year as normal though. That's the only problem.
Yeah, he came off the bench at the weekend.
Yeah,
Still getting minutes though.
yeah.
Still got his clean sheet, 5 points.
yeah,
Stones is back as well, so it's a bit of a tricky one. Ake's 3.4 million, and but he didn't even come on this weekend.
yeah. I'm looking at it, thinking, obviously, Laporte and Ake have the ability to play at left back as well. So
Yeah,
they sneak maybe a few more minutes, a few more appearances than some others. I just went Bernardo, Akanji, Laporte, and Mahrez. Like I say, the fifth. You go Edison, but it's so expensive for a keeper. It's so much money. But he is guaranteed usually both games. Uh, he usually plays the European and the league. So, yeah, usual suspects. Usual suspects, really.
I'll be
Like I say,
surprised if he plays the League Cup match though.
no, he probably won't. Who was it who came in?
Ortega.
Ortega, yeah. You probably see him playing. Like I say, there's not many defenders now. There's centre halves: Stones, Ake, Laporte, Diaz, Akanji. Like, there's a lot of choice there, isn't there? There's a lot of choice. So.
Gomez is back from suspension now, isn't he? Should
Yeah, I
play
think so.
midweek. Well, he might
Yeah.
get some minutes. I don't know if he'll start.
And then when is Walker due back after World Cup? Is that after
But
the
he's
World
still
Cup?
trying to get fit for the World Cup. So I don't know if he'll come back before. Would imagine he will.
Yeah, there's a lot of rotation. Going on there. Yeah, that's what you have to deal with, though. You want to go all in on City. Right, Aman. He's been on. He's having a cracking season as well. I think he's up in 20th now, Aman. He's not very far behind my best side in 15th. I think he's about 6 or 7 points. So, well done, Aman. Keep going, mate.
Flying, Aman.
And he's asking which goalkeeper to replace Kepa with. My answer is any. No, it's not that bad. He's done all right actually. Kepa, he's done all right for me. But who do you reckon, James?
Well, I've got 10 Keppers, so I'm invested in this one.
He's done you like a kipper.
Edison obviously would be the obvious choice, but he's ridiculously expensive. Pickford would be my choice. As I said earlier, I think Everton have got good clean sheet potential against Leicester at home and 2 Bournemouths away. I think there's a reasonable chance he plays all 3. I don't know. Who's their backup now? Do we know?
Begovic.
He might play. He might get the. He's half decent, isn't he? So
Yeah.
he might play the cup game. But yeah, I think I would go for Pickford. Ben, you've always said you would like to get your hands on Areola.
I've had a couple of areolas this season.
He might be starting now. Fabianski's injured.
Is he injured, Fabianski?
Yeah, he came off at half time.
All right, I never noticed.
I
I didn't watch the game intensely. Like I was busy. Now that is a proposition. Was that 2.1 million? That's not too bad. Decent fixtures, like you say, 3 fixtures at home. Yeah, could be a good option.
I got a alert on my phone saying Meslier has just earned you 5 extra bonus points for being Storman. Where's that
He's
come
still
from?
betting.
He's in my Liverpool block team at the bottom, the 10th, like the worst team, and he's still sat in there. 8 points he got.
1.5 million. 2-star mans this season.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Ben?
I've got De Gea as my first choice. 3.1 million. He's got 5 clean sheets in his last 6 games. Like he seems to not get the 7 ratings though. He's been getting 5, 5, 5, 5. But tonight he played really well. I watched the last 10 minutes of the game and he pulled off some blinding saves. He only just got 7 ratings, 7.28. Nowhere near the star man. Dallo was on 8.33.
Yeah.
So he's a good option. I've got him in a few teams. And Pope, like you say, Pope's an option now again with Europe out the window. Newcastle looking good, 3.4 million, and he loves a star man. 3 star mans this season so far. And if you're scraping the barrel, like you said, Meslier, 1.5 million.
Yeah.
Now Areola's 2.1 million, so maybe Areola's a good one, like James just said.
Yeah. It's going to be harsh on the price swing with Kepa now. Obviously, you've got 10 Kepas. He's probably going to go down 0.3, I'd guess, this week.
0.6 if he could.
So, yeah, if you want to... He's going to make it a little bit more difficult if you've no money in the bank.
At what price did you get Kepa in, James? You must have gone about 2.
I got him really cheap. I was straight on it because I know a lot of people.
Money.
Yeah, I've made plenty of money on him. And I've still got a few transfers left in. I've probably still got 5 sides with transfers left, so it's only going to be the other 5 that have the problem of having to take the price hit. But yeah, I got him really cheap, so yeah, I'm not that upset about it.
Yeah, I think there's some good options, isn't there, for the month, especially because there's no European games. I'm going to try and nail one that's going to play all 3. Pickford probably won't. Who's Pope's backup? Newcastle.
Karius is his backup.
Loris Karius.
So maybe he gets a run out in the cup then. Yeah. De Gea. 5 out of 6 clean sheets. So that's probably my option. United, De Gea. Right. Moving onwards. DT Patrick again. With Spurs seemingly struggling with these extra games and a depleted squad and a tough game versus Liverpool and the rejuvenated Leeds, is it time to take out Kane to strengthen elsewhere? What do you reckon about that, Ben? Taking out main man Harry?
Well, as you can see with my podcast team, I have no Kane. And I have 8 Kanes in all my other 10 teams. And it's proper cost my podcast team. It's gone right up the shitter. So I'd say keep at all costs. He's averaging 4.7 points so far this season. He's had a little dip in the last 4 games. I think he's had 2 blanks and a -1, but he's still got 11 goals, 3 assists, and a star man. 7 million. Like, I think he's a good price for what he gets you. I wouldn't be selling him. Like you say, I reckon he'll play the cup match as well.
Yeah.
What do you think, James?
I wouldn't be getting rid of him. Surely there must be other priorities in the team. There's lots of potential bargains in November, so that to use budget as a sort of an excuse, or if you like, to do it, I don't think really stacks up because we've got so many players that we can choose from in November. There's loads of potential bargains from sides with non-European games that I don't think taking out Kane would be wise personally. He's been pretty consistent. I know he's not scored this week, but I mean, he was literally getting 1 goal a game, wasn't he? And that's enough to keep ticking along. And he's on penalties. And they've got plenty of divers in that team to win him the penalties, haven't they? So, so no, I wouldn't be taking Kane out.
Yeah, for me, no. I think I've got 8 Kanes, and I'm pretty certain I'll be still with 8 Kanes come end of the fixtures in November. Yeah, he's ticking along nice again. No need to try and be too clever regarding that. I think.
I want to get back to 10 Canes.
Yeah, I mean he don't matter. He's Kane's kind of play that's fixture proof.
Yeah.
I know Spurs really don't look good at the minute, but they scored 3 at the weekend. He wasn't involved in them, was he?
He was very quiet at the weekend. But yeah.
He's an explosive player. He can go and bag a couple next game against Liverpool. Likes playing in the big games. It's going to be an interesting match, that, between Spurs and Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool coming off the back of the Forest and Leeds results after playing well against Ajax midweek. Strange one. Matt Woolley has been on. For those teams who've transferred out Haaland this week, would you be bringing him back in next week if he's on the bench on Saturday? Really good question. It is a little bit hypothetical and it's just what if, but so James, I trust. Did you manage to take Haaland out of some of your teams?
I did take Haaland out. I brought in Salah for him in quite a few teams. I did brought in one Nunes, I think. It's a difficult question because we don't really know. I mean, it depends on whether Pep gives us any clues, doesn't it? I think Ben you said earlier, he's not going to. He's definitely out of midweek because they've qualified. Pep said they've qualified, so there's no point risking him. So there's a good chance he will, even if he doesn't play Saturday, he'll play that midweek. And that obviously, if he doesn't play Saturday, it makes it a more difficult decision. But he could bang a hat trick. We've seen how many hat tricks has he got so far this season. It's going to be a tricky one if he's not in the side Saturday. But I think from what Ben was saying earlier, there's a good chance he'll play that Chelsea game. So I don't know. I probably would bring him back if I thought he was going to play just the one game because he's just literally head and shoulders above anyone else in the league.
Yeah, Ben.
It's tough. Right now, I'm thinking no, but you know when he gets to that next week and you see him there on the bench, you might think, yeah, I need him back in because looking at the ownership, so his ownership at the moment is still 72.8% in the overall game. It's 84.2% in the top 1,000 and 76% in the top 100. So if he bangs any game and you haven't got him, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a tricky one. I think he probably will have to bring him. But at the moment, I'm saying no.
Yeah. Especially if he's named on the bench this weekend, he has to come back into the team. He has to, because like you say, he'd only take. Maybe they go goal down, and at half time he brings him on. He might play a game and a half. If he only plays part of the game on the Saturday, like you say, he's probably going to start against Chelsea midweek cup. So, yeah, got to have him. I won't want to watch that game without him.
I think you've twisted my arm.
It'd be scary. It would be scary. Like
Yeah,
said,
22 goals already this season.
Yeah, and his ownership is so high. You'd be better off transferring him in and he doesn't play at all.
Yeah.
But it's protecting you against the fact that he's so explosive. So explosive. I took him out. How many teams have I managed to have a transfer left in? I have ended up I've only got 4 Haalands left. So yeah, that'll be 6 of my teams will be using a transfer straight off, I reckon, on Saturday. If he's not in the squad, and what we're hearing is it's a little bit that makes it a little bit more difficult, doesn't it? Because he'd get tied. Your players that all play the weekend, you won't be able to bring him in back in midweek if he does start against Chelsea.
Yeah.
That'll be the trickier one, trying to like preempt when he will be back. What would you do, James, if he's not on the bench?
Given that I brought personally, I think it is a little bit team dependent. I brought Salah in, and he's got Tottenham away. If I thought there was a good chance that he would play the midweek fixture, I'd probably bring him back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a black and white situation. It is tricky. It's tricky if he's not on the if he's
We've
not
got
even
more press
starting.
conferences to come and everything yet, so
Yeah,
more news.
Need to keep an eye on what Pep says. Try and second guess him as we always do.
That's it. Yeah. Right. Next question. Lee Hooper. Not sure if it's just me, but budgets are all going south. Have we overestimated likely budgets for after the World Cup? Obviously during the unlimited transfers. You reckon? How did your budgets get bashed this week, James?
Well, I think I'm not paying too much attention to it because I think we're all in the same boat. A lot of big hitters will be going down, particularly the Chelsea guys. There's a lot of people with some Chelsea coverage out there because they look like they were going to provide some amazing enablers with lots of cheap defenders, etc. The likes of Kepa. Yeah, I think we possibly have overestimated the budgets a little bit, but everyone's in the same boat, so I wouldn't worry. I don't think there's anything you can do about it, so there's no point worrying about it, I would say.
Yeah, I think what we've seen is some of the teams that had a good week last week and held the budget or improved the budget have not had such a good week so far this week, and their budgets look like they'll probably come back down. Whereas, like I said, people like De Bruyne, who's had a good week, they were going back up in price. It's just going to even itself out. I think 60 million is a very good budget for a World Cup. I think you get to the World Cup overall with 60 mil. I think you'll be happy with that. And talking about the World Cup,
Chelsea still.
go on, Ben.
Sorry, Chelsea's still got to play in the Champions League yet. So if they get a clean sheet, it might not even go down. You know what I
It's a
mean?
good point.
Because it seems to be going on the last game of the game week.
They've qualified, don't they, Chelsea?
Yeah.
I think we'll probably see Mendy. Did Potter not say that they were gonna use it to rotate, weren't he?
Yeah, he
rotates anyway.
Yeah,
that's true.
I hope this is the last game he does. Like he's experimenting because he needs to start nailing down the team really. Because all the most successful teams in history are quite, how do you say it? The regular start, the all same team regularly starting. Like everybody knows their roles in the team.
Yeah.
If you keep changing it, people are not used to playing with each other. You're not going to get the rhythm.
Yeah. Completely agree. Touching on the World Cup, Aman has asked, is there any news on the Sun Dream Team World Cup game? Obviously, there's been couple of games announced across the other platforms. James, do you know any update, mate?
Yeah, well, I emailed Sun Dream Team customer support and said, is there going to be a game? We'd like to. I know lots of people would be interested in it. We'd be willing to help promote it, and I've had no response. We've even been chatting to the guys at the hub. We're lined up to write a couple of articles for the hub about the World Cup. But obviously, that's if they don't launch a game, we won't be doing it. So we don't have any information on that. We hope they're going to do it, but no news at the moment.
Yeah, there we go. Right, let's get some league tables read out. The Dream Team Tonic Cash League top 10. Ben, do you want to do the honours, mate?
Yep. In 10th place, Simon Davis. 9th place, Dan Bartlam. 8th place, Lee Hooper. 7th place, Stephen Bestwick. 6th place, Simon Davis again. 5th place, Lee Watson. 4th place, Tom Brinley. 3rd and 2nd place is Leo Reed. And top of the shot, Tony's still there. Top of the league.
Still up there, fending them off.
Yeah.
Fending
How's
all
your,
over the
that's your best team, isn't it, Tony? How's it doing
Yes, let's see
in
there.
the overall?
45 points for week. So not great. So dropped down to 15th now. It's had a couple of game weeks, to be honest. So
You got a couple of Chelsea in there.
yeah, Cucurella and Kepa. I can't do it with them. But it's one of them. One of them just want to get this to the next transfers, try and tidy it up a little bit, and then hopefully see myself through to the World Cup and try and stay in the top 10. Want to be in around the top 10. Winning to that World Cup would be nice. Hopefully don't just drift away. But yeah.
Still plenty of games to go before the next transfers as well with the European games. So you could be back in the top 10
Yeah,
soon.
hopefully, mate. Hopefully. Like I say, if Kepa and Cucurella play, they could make amends for the hammering they received at the hands of Brighton. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. Right, the Patreon League top 10. How's that going, James?
Yep, so in 10th we've got Stephen Tuke, 9th Patrick Bryson, 8th Nicholas Stetham, in 7th we've got Barry McCormack, 6th Mark Warner, 5th Tom Brinley, 4th Brian Blackett, 3rd Steve Broughton, 2nd Lee Utting, and at the top we've got Jake Bevan.
Ooh, Brian Blackett's had a nightmare. He's been top for weeks.
Yeah,
23 points.
Yeah.
Has he got a Chelsea block?
It's very tight at the top, though. Very tight.
Bit of Chelsea block, that.
Close, isn't it?
Brian Blackett, no doubt. Right, let's have a run through the ownerships. Most owned percentage in the top 1K and top 100. James, can I have a run through those, mate?
Yeah, so in the top 100 ownership, we've got at the top we've got Kevin De Bruyne. Last week that would have been Haaland. So obviously, quite a few people have still had a few transfers left to get rid of him. Kieran Trippier is the second highest owned player in the top 100. Haaland is third. Phil Foden is fourth, 65%. Saka, who might be injured, is in fifth spot with 60%. So I didn't read out the percentages, did I, for the top ones? So Kevin De Bruyne is on 88, Trippier's on 81, and Haaland's on 76. The top 1K ownership is very similar. So we've got Haaland at the top for that one. So obviously, perhaps they're not quite as engaged as the top 100. Perhaps you don't have as many transfers left, so he's still top there with 84%.
Yeah.
And then we've got Kevin De Bruyne on 84% as well. Haaland's got just a fraction more ownership. It's actually 84.2. Trippier's third in the top 1K ownership, 73.5. Cancelo 59.1 and Saka 57.7. So they're fairly similar, but some quite interesting differences there.
Yeah. Shows on the top 100 ownership, the players that are doing the business. 65% for Foden. I've been disappointed this weekend, won't they? Me being one of them. Right, most transferred in from this last week. the last 7 days. And there's that Miggy's face, big smiler. Miggy Almiron, 13,000 transfers in this weekend, and he trekked the new owners to a goal. Another goal.
What a goal.
Yeah.
He's absolutely on fire.
Flying.
Can't stop scoring.
Yeah, 13,000 transfers in, way ahead of the next person, which is Saka, who 5,700 managers brought him in, only to break him. He's gone off injured. He did get 5 points before he went, but don't look like he'll be involved midweek now. In a game that Arsenal probably need to win, don't they? So they'll probably play a full strength side. Dalot, 5,000 transfers in as well. He trekked the new owners to a star man. Trippier's there with 4,600. I think that'll be a running theme over the next few weeks. And Kane, 4,000 transfers in for a -1. What about the Alps, Ben? Who's been getting cold?
Yep. Top of that is Haaland, 8,600 transfers out. Sterling, he's gone, 7,500 transfers out. Luis Diaz somehow is still in 6,931 teams.
How has he managed to last all this month?
I don't know. It's a lot of money just sat there doing nothing. 5.2 million.
Yeah.
Another one, Reece James, 5.7 million, sat in
Wow.
6,300 teams. Oh, this one's got to hurt. Jesus, 5.6 million.
Chance.
He's just gone and got 12-pointer.
Yeah, they took
5,700 transfers out. What are you going to say, Tony?
They probably took him out and put Kane in.
Yeah. And then Zinchenko's under there. I don't know how he's still in there.
Yeah.
5,776.
It's like people just like
And
walking up. Very
yeah, and then
sleep.
underneath that, the one underneath that, Pascal Gross punished him and got an 8-pointer. Got a goal against Chelsea.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Odegaard's had 3,500 out as well. He got a nice little bonus this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. There we are. That's that wrapped up. James, you're off to the Isle of Fernandos next week, are you?
Something
Single
like that.
lady, reveal
Yeah,
yourselves.
I'm going to be away for a couple of weeks. I'm going to the Isle of Marguerite, which is an island of Venezuela. I'll be flying from Gatwick to Istanbul, and then from Istanbul to Caracas. I won't be leaving the Caracas airport, so don't nobody send me messages saying, James, it's the most dangerous city in the world. It is up there. But I'm not planning to leave the airport. I'm going to go straight to the domestic transfers and fly to the island of Margarita. And I've got a friend who lives on the island, and he assures me that he's going to look after me. So I'll be away for a couple of weeks, chaps. So I hear you've got some nice guests coming on in my absence. So that's good.
We have.
And I will see you when I get back.
We hope you have a great time, mate.
Cheers, buds.
We got a Dream Team Professor coming on. We've got Matt Woolley, who's going to meet me sober this time.
It's surprised he wants to come back after that last one.
So yeah, we're going to make amends. I won't be having a beer. So yeah, hope you have a good time, mate. And a well-deserved holiday. Yeah, I think that's it for this week. If you haven't followed us on Twitter yet, and you're listening on YouTube or Spotify, get us followed on there. At Dream Team Tonic is the main account handle. Our personal handles are at James A. Fricker, at DTT_Tony, and at DT Tonic Ben. Yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Cheers for listening. Appreciate it. And until next time, sayonara. See you later, chaps.
See you guys. See you in a few weeks' time, hopefully. Anyway,
Have a good one, James, and
Try
cheers,
not to
everyone.
try not to get kidnapped.